There seems to be a common belief that the offshore trusts, although providing good asset protection, are unaffordable and are so expensive that they're only for the very wealthy people. Not entirely true, and the offshore trusts are actually much more cost effective than some people expect. It is true that the fees and costs associated with these trusts are unregulated, and therefore they vary widely among people who, companies that try to sell them online, or even various attorneys. When we looked at the market, we found that there are attorneys and non-attorney trust companies that are capitalizing on the offshore trust market to impose fees of over $40,000, $50,000 per trust, per client, in addition to some charging annual fees. And these are not the trustees, but just the attorneys and trust companies charging annual fees. And then, of course, the trust companies have fees. So the question is, or I want to address today, is what should it cost, what can it cost to set up an offshore trust? Typically, our experience is that most attorneys that are doing this are not overcharging their clients, and they seem to have fees in the range of $15,000 to maybe $30,000, in that type of range for legal fees. Our firm, our particular firm, which, because maybe we have low overhead and just maybe we're efficient, but our fees tend to be the lower end of that. We charge typically around $15,000, maybe at the most $20,000 to set up an offshore trust. So that is favorable to some of these overcharging firms. And so in addition to the legal fee, you have to be prepared to pay a trustee. So the trustees provide a service. They maintain control over your assets. They are providing protection. The trustees will charge an annual fee that range from $5,000 to $10,000 a year. Some of the trust companies will charge a flat fee, which is good, and some will charge a variable fee depending on the services they provide. But that seems to be the range. Our law firm does not charge any annual fees. Some of some trust sales companies and some other attorneys will tack on, in addition to the legal fee to set up the trust, some kind of annual maintenance fee, and they seem to range in the range of $5,000 to $10,000. So don't be dissuaded by your first experience when you're pricing out these offshore trusts and find these online companies and huge law firms that are charging $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 in the first year. There are much more economical ways, either with our firm or maybe some of our similar competitors, that charge much less and become much more cost effective. The point is not to get the cheapest, but get some provider that is experienced, has been doing this for a while, and will provide the services you need at a reasonable fee. And I find that as long as you're fee in the reasonable range, you should hire some trust attorney that is you feel comfortable with and you believe has the experience and had done this a while to provide you the best protection.